Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Good morning. Happy Thursday to you, Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, Early Break. Full show ahead. Mike Schaefer in for the 7 o'clock hour. As always, Ross Dellinger of SI.com joins us next segment to talk all things college football and Nebraska. Also, Mickey Joseph Engel from Ross Dellinger today. How are you this morning?
Thank you. I'm doing fine. Thank you. I'm doing fine.
You're welcome.
I don't have any major news.
I don't chit-chat. The parking lot's getting done outside, so we had to park in different spots this morning.
I saw.
By the way, you were not here after the show yesterday, which is fine. You leave always after the show. It sounded like a permanent earthquake outside, a hurricane, because they're just pounding the ground nonstop as they try to move the earth and fix the parking lot. It's a scary place to be right now.
Well, it looks like they're about done.
They got some work to do still.
Do they?
Yeah.
Idle chit chat. Went to Buffalo Wings and Rings, our spot.
Yes.
Met a fella named Dirk, who's a big fan at the ticket.
Was it Dirk Nowitzki? Is he
No.
tall and German?
No, he's
Blonde?
enough of a fan that he could rate all his favorite hosts and co-hosts.
Wow.
So he listens throughout the day,
Okay.
which that's the listeners we really like.
Yes.
Dirk
Thank you,
was
Dirk.
at a wonder. Yeah, Dirk was enjoying. I think he had a wing. I think he had wings with his wife. It was a good crowd. It was a good crowd at Buffalo Wings and Rings
For no sports, right? What
Well-
was going on last night?
well, I think-
Basketball, NBA,
Well, I think now this is
volleyball.
Yeah.
Volleyball.
Now hold on though, Sparky. Me and Alex were there. Alex and I were there at 5:45. So there was no volleyball. Volleyball didn't start till 8. And there was still a good crowd there. It was like a lead up to the volleyball, but the volleyball match was still 2 hours away.
Just a place to go watch, eat some food on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, good place. I fell into I went away from the Cajun dry rub, and I went to the bourbon barbecue. They're messy, but they're really good. I mean, I just make a mess of myself. I almost feel like I should take a shower right afterwards.
Well, you probably should next time.
Anyway, there's
yeah.
your edition of what do we call it?
Idle chit chat. Regarding Nebraska volleyball, they did have a top 5 matchup. The Huskers were ranked number 1 going in last night.
Yeah.
Badgers 5th. Huskers get swept in Madison. 25-23 the first set. Set 2, same score, 25-23. Set 3, 25-18. The Badgers were not playing great volleyball as of late in terms of what they expect as the defending national champs, but they get it done with the sweep of the Huskers. Nebraska had been playing some great volleyball going into that match.
Right.
But they get swept in Madison.
Sort
Tough
of
place for them to win.
Sort of perplexing, except that if you read Abby Barmore of Husker Online, her account of the match, sounds like Wisconsin just made Nebraska very uncomfortable with its serve. And that can happen.
Okay.
The passing starts going awry, and you're on the road, and you don't get into a rhythm. I'm not Karch Karai, but I understand that part of it. That's tough when John's not going to be happy about that. But, I mean, sometimes, I don't know. You know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the old cliche. Sometimes a loss at this point in the season can ultimately be helpful. I mean, it's part of the discussion last week, Jake. Well, Tom Stevens asked me, do you think Cook's crew is peaking too early? Well, you don't have to worry about that right now, right?
No, you don't. I mean, they were playing really good football. Oh, sorry. Wow. I looked at the guy. Volleyball.
Wow.
Let's look at the football players account real quick. They were playing good volleyball, really good volleyball, leading into
Drink
that.
your coffee.
Yeah, I need some coffee here. I had to get it. That's why we're late. I had to get my coffee poured before the show.
We weren't late.
We were like 20 seconds behind time typically there when we actually start the show. 10 seconds behind time. Now I have my coffee. We're good to go. Hey, Nebraska football has their schedule for next season, and SIP, people a little bit upset about the fact that Nebraska has their first 2 games on the road. Whoever the new coach is, if it's Mickey Joseph, if it's somebody else, their first 2 games next season will not be in the friendly confines of Memorial Stadium. They will play on a Thursday, August 31st at Minnesota to begin the season next year, and then head to Colorado, who will also have a first-year head coach or a new head coach next season, before 3 straight home games against Northern Illinois, Louisiana Tech, and Michigan.
Yeah. How about that? I have a lot of thoughts here.
I'd like to hear your initial thoughts.
Well, first of all, yes, 2 home games. Excuse me. God,
2
come on. We got to get it together.
I'm together. I got that one right. I was correct.
2 road games to start the season, but there's very drivable road games. There'll be very exciting road games, I would think, for Nebraska fans to drive to Minnesota. Easy drive, beautiful time of year. That game is on August 31st. Minnesota plays a lot of that Thursday night ball on that week because the Minnesota State Fair #1 is a big thing up there, and it's the final kind of big lake weekend. How many lakes are in Minnesota?
Over 10,000.
Yeah, it says on their license plate.
That's right, it does. It's a stat.
Yeah, it's a stat. So this is ordinary for Minnesota. It's not so ordinary for Nebraska. Thursday night game, but it's exciting. And then, come on. I know how you feel about Colorado.
Yeah, I look forward to that trip. You know I'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah, and that's fun. Okay, this is the most interesting part of the discussion, in my opinion. Now, tell me if I'm wrong on this. If I were the Colorado AD right now, and I saw that schedule, I would be concerned in a big way. Colorado's not doing well.
No, they're not
in football.
No.
Now they're going to have a new coach, so there'll be some level of excitement depending on who
is the coach. Yeah, is it a name they know out there, or a name that's just kind of an underwhelming? Like, does Ryan Walters get them jacked? If that's the guy,
I don't know.
He's never been a coach before, head coach.
No, he's a former buff.
Now he's having a great year as a coordinator, but does that get the fan base back in the stadium?
If it doesn't, if it's an underwhelming head coach choice by Colorado, there'll be an overwhelming Nebraska presence.
Yes, there will.
And when I say overwhelming, I mean embarrassingly overwhelming if you're a Colorado buff.
Like Northwestern-esque, right?
Yeah.
When Nebraska goes to Evanston, it's typically more red than purple there.
I think it would be even more pronounced. I think you're looking at like 75%, which would be 70, 60.
I go 65%.
Okay.
Which is still more than gold and black.
Incredibly embarrassing.
Sure.
I mean, if you're Colorado, and I don't know what you do here, but you take steps immediately to minimize that red invasion as much as you can.
Well, they can do that by winning more games the rest of this season and then having a coach hired that they care about.
Isn't there a ticket plan you can enact, though?
Sure.
I mean,
there is.
There's no complete way to stave off a big red presence, but there's things you can do in the ticket sales that, I don't know, make it more difficult for an invasion. That's all I'm going to say. Now, the other thing that strikes me about this schedule. Now, this is, I mean, I don't want to be Debbie Downer here, but you might be looking at 0-3 start in the Big Ten.
Okay, first game at Minnesota, then home against Michigan, and then at Illinois.
Trouble. That feels like, oof.
What if Bielema was not there?
Make it easier.
Yeah, it's possible.
Maybe Ryan Walters will coach both Illinois and Colorado.
It's possible. They can keep traveling to both places. Now,
wait a second. Ryan Walters coaching both Illinois.
A lot of traveling there. Yeah, he's got his own private jet. Minnesota, again, we'll see what they look like.
Yeah.
I mean, now you're right. It's the fact that it is a Thursday night game. It's a home game for them. They're going to be jacked up. The nation's watching that game on Thursday night.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Nebraska can't win that game.
They sure can.
I mean, who knows?
We'll see how they finish this season.
The one thing about college football nowadays, year to year, it's like it used to be. You could kind of project a team and project its progress or lack thereof based on the current roster and the current coaching staff. But now, with the portal, who knows what Nebraska is going to look like next year? What if they go to the portal?
Yeah.
What if they go to the portal again and get 3 new big time receivers and a big time running back, and they're going to the JUCOs and getting line? I mean, it might look a lot different. So I don't want to. It's not all that productive to sit here and try to project what that game's going to look like.
But we're going to try to anyways.
We don't even know who the coach is going to be. Right.
The coordinators, the
Right.
staff at all.
I mean, you're just kind of going on
Is
this.
your quarterback back next year?
Yeah, so you could knock me very hard here and say, well, you're the one who said they could start 0-3.
You did say that.
Yeah. So just shut up. Sipple.
Everything really changes
Say
every
it.
single year.
You should say it more.
Shut up.
Shut up, Sipple.
Okay.
Say it again.
Shut up, Sipple.
You don't say it very well. There's people who have called in and said it well. Shut up, Sipple.
Well, I don't want to yell at you right now.
Okay.
That's a little extreme.
Sure.
Okay. Then you're home against Northwestern after a bye week following the Illinois game. Home against Purdue, at Michigan State, the Woodshed. Home against Maryland, at Wisconsin, home against Iowa. I'm getting a lot of text saying that the schedule is not very daunting. For
It's
next
not.
season.
It's. I agree.
Your toughest conference game is a
Michigan.
home game.
It's
Michigan.
By the way, you get Michigan on September 30th.
Early.
That's good. That's good. No, it's not very daunting.
Think about
Because
this.
the crossovers. Hit the crossovers.
Think
real quick.
about the crossovers.
Hit the
are,
crossover.
Michigan on September 30th. Then you have Michigan State on the road on November 4th. My
4th.
screen's very tiny.
And then the next week
And
you're
then you have Maryland at home the following week.
right. So okay, so just stop there.
No Ohio State, no Penn State.
Michigan will be a bear. A trip to East Lansing's not real easy, and Maryland's sneaky good. It's not. I mean, you're not going to get any way it's configured. It's not going to be real easy with the crossovers, right? This year is about.
Yeah, you got Rutgers and Indiana this year.
But you got to go to Ann Arbor. There's always going to be a but part of that conversation, right?
Yes.
There's going to be a but part of that conversation. 4 straight years with a conference opener, that's interesting to me. 4 straight years you're opening in conference play.
Yeah, I would guess that fans don't like that. If you want to chime in on that, 402-464-5685. I long again for the day, Sip, where the opening game was not a gimme, but the closest thing to it, where Nebraska could just go pound somebody, get some confidence,
I know.
and not have to worry about beating Illinois off the bat, or
Right.
beating Minnesota,
Right.
beating Northwestern.
Right. In Ireland. God, we went to Ireland.
I long for a game against FIU or something like that.
Right. I get it. No, I totally understand what you're
North
saying.
Dakota,
Yeah.
not state.
Yeah.
The team you beat by 21.
New
this
Mexico
year.
State.
Yes, those types of teams. Bring them back to Lincoln to start off the season.
The other thing about it is there's going to be a 7-week period with just one road trip. After the Colorado game on September 9th, the only time Nebraska will leave Lincoln before November 4th is to go to Illinois. So after the Colorado game, think about it. Nebraska will leave Lincoln just one time before early November. That's bizarre almost.
Well, yeah.
we're going to be around a lot.
But
It's great for the show.
Imagine, Skip, if Nebraska starts off 2-0 with those road games, though. If they beat Minnesota to begin this season, and then they go to Colorado, and then they have all those home games, that stretch of
Right.
with one road game in Illinois before you go to Michigan State in November.
Right. 13th year in a row, there'll be a Black Friday game against Iowa. 13 years in a row. As Sean Callahan points out in his Husker Online story, for perspective, Nebraska played Colorado 15 years in a row on Black Friday from 1996 to 2010 before Nebraska entered the Big Ten. And Colorado left, too.
They did.
For the Pac-12.
Yeah.
So 15 years in a row, Nebraska played Colorado on Black Friday. This will be the 13th year in a row Nebraska plays Iowa on Black Friday. And they're talking about perhaps a nighttime kickoff because the NFL is messing around. Well, they're not messing around. They recently announced, the NFL, that it'll play a 2 p.m. game streamed on Amazon on Black Friday in 2023.
How do you feel about a night game on Black Friday
Right.
in Lincoln? That game's in Lincoln.
I feel great. It'd be great. I'm good. No, but next
It's
yeah,
pretty cold in November, late November.
true. But I'm in a press box.
Yeah, you are. I have vivid memories of me in 2015 having my butt glued to the seats because it was so icy and cold there.
Is
I
that
sat
right?
in the stands.
Who was that Iowa quarterback then?
They were 12-0. That's
Yeah, you know who it was. It's the guy who ended up with the Niners.
Beathard.
Beathard. Yeah.
CJ Beathard.
CJ Beathard.
That's the game they won to go to 12-0. And I was in the stands, and I know a lot of fans out there listening. So, oh yeah, Jake, I
Rough.
hear you. I hear you.
rough.
That game sucked.
Yeah.
They lost the game, and people were freezing their butts off, literally freezing their butts.
It was a wet cold.
It
too.
was exactly. It sucked. It was terrible. I regret going to that game.
Do you still? You still harbor that regret?
Yeah,
Would you please get over that?
I'll get over it. It was 7 years ago. I will get over it. That was they broke their own streak. I mean, that was the start of the streak of beating Nebraska, that game, because Nebraska beat them 2014. They got revenge to go to 12-0 and beat Nebraska the following year, which now they have never lost since.
Now, some people are gonna use the word on you that they use on me.
What's that?
You're being a bit of a snowflake. It is Nebraska in November. It's probably going to be very cold.
It's going to be even colder at nighttime than it is during the day.
Right.
That's why I think you prefer 11 a.m. or 2 or 3 p.m. for the kickoff. It ends when it's cold. It doesn't start when it's cold.
I agree. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you that it's colder at night than the day usually. What else about the schedule has tripped the? We have a caller.
We have a caller, and also we'll ask you guys 402-464-5685. We'd like your initial thoughts on the schedule. Do you believe it is gettable? Are you daunted by it at all? Is it daunting, or do you think it's a chance for Nebraska to do something with that? As we mentioned, 2 games on the road to begin the season, and then you have 1 road game between September 16th and October 28th. Just 1 at Illinois on October 7th. That's pretty crazy. 464-5685. We have a call.
Yep.
You can hear us. You're on early break. Go ahead. Who do we have here?
Good morning, Steve Jake.
All right.
Chris at the Baldwin Show.
This was probably this news of the schedule dropped at 11 a.m. yesterday, so there was plenty of time for the Baldwin Shop workers to hash this out. What did you guys think?
Through that.
Yeah, Steve, Jake, yes, the younger crowd informed me about that and let me know, since they're all over Twitter, even during work hours. So, you know what? Now, did I hear this right on the news service last night? They said this is only like the 3rd time since World War II that Nebraska has started 2 road games to start the season.
Ooh,
It's been a very long time.
yeah, I've covered the team since World War II, and
Have you now?
yeah,
News to me.
yeah, and that seems accurate to me. That seems accurate.
But yeah, Steve, I thought I heard that on the news last night, which would mean the 3rd time in 77 years that this has started. But like you said, they make up for ground after that with what seems to be a long time before they have to hit the road, only once there at Illinois. Now, I do think, Steve, Jake,
Okay.
the outer division teams, Michigan at home,
Mhm.
and I think Jim Harbaugh's got them where he wants them to be right now. I don't think that was the case in his first 3 or 4 years there.
No.
But I think he's got them rolling. He's got offensive linemen that seem to be stacked up behind one another that he just replaces now year after year. Their defense always seems to be better, even though they lose coordinators on both sides of the ball. Michigan will be tough at home. But I tell you guys, I think those other 2, swapping out them for Indiana and Rutgers, that's going to be a little bit tougher deal, I think.
I agree.
Maryland's always seems to have skilled players. Do you guys agree with that?
I mean,
Good receivers for sure.
it could be harder than it will be, but it's harder than it is this year. I would agree with you. I would agree with you on that. I mean, it does help getting Michigan in your house early.
Yeah, Steve, I agree. It's but guys, hey, let's face it. We don't know what our team's going to look like next year. The defense, the defense really never has been a terror under Scott's regime here.
No, it
So
hasn't.
above all, that's the thing that needs to be fixed in the off season. That defense needs to get better. Otherwise, we're always going to be in trouble with the schedule. Steve, Jake, I think Colorado really down this year. I see they did win a game. I didn't think Colorado was going to win a game this year, but I see they did win a game. But there's no guarantee. They beat us with the first year coach there. I think in Scott's second year.
Mel Tucker.
When we had to go out there and they beat us. Remember, they beat us here when I thought for sure we were going to beat them. But they had a good quarterback and a very good receiver. I think his name was Chenault.
You got it.
I thought he was the best player on the field that day.
Laviska.
And Steven Montez, the quarterback.
Laviska Chenault.
Yeah, I don't know if they have those type of players there right now, but it's going to be interesting to see how that comes out. But I tell you what, that was a tough ticket there at the game in Boulder there out there in 2019. I think that was a real tough ticket. But guys, hey, one thing here before I go. Now think about next year at this time, when they release the 2024 schedule.
Oh, yes.
And God knows who we're going to be playing then. I take it it's going to be USC and UCLA will be on that schedule. And whoever knows, I know Tom Chattel, I reading his column there this week, he thinks Oregon, Washington, and even Stanford might be involved in that. But next year's schedule at this time, boy, that'll really be something to talk about for a few days. But anyway, listen, Steve, Jake, hey, you guys have a great day. Great show as usual.
Yep.
Sounds like we're going to have a beautiful day Saturday over here for this Illinois game. And guys, listen, I'll give you guys a call Monday and we'll hash out the weekend business.
Thank
Okay,
you,
Chris. Thanks for the
Thank
call.
you. Thanks for the report from the Baldwin shop. The crossovers. Yeah, I think we have to be a little careful. Stock phrase alert. We have to be a little careful saying, those crossovers are pretty soft. Harder than this year.
Maryland is a tough team.
Harder than this year. Do we agree?
Yes. You got a good draw this year. When you have
Yeah.
Rutgers and Indiana and back-to-back games and so like they had this year, that's a win.
Yeah.
Now Michigan on the road is tough, but you had 2 wins before that.
And next year, again, it's wonderful that Michigan's coming here. That Jim.
Anytime you can avoid the big house is good.
Yeah.
I mean, they almost beat them last year in Lincoln.
And I mean it more from the standpoint of nostalgia and fanfare and those helmets.
It was a great football game
helmets.
last time.
Yes,
were
it
here.
was.
Last season was a good football game.
One thing off the beaten path a little bit. I've been thinking about Jimbo a lot, Fisher.
Oh, really? That is off the path.
Yeah, because he's in trouble. He's just 3-4 in year 5. Jimbo is 3-4 in year 5. Now, two of my favorite coaches are named one's Jimbo and one's Jim. Jim at Michigan. Think about it, Jake. That was year 6 for Jim at Michigan when he threw a 2-4 during the COVID and about lost his job. That was year 6.
Okay.
So what am I suggesting? Patience, AD at A&M.
Well, they almost have to have patience for the money that's Jimbo's owed to go away, right?
$85 million. I can't say without laughing.
You're saying, Jimbo, give us something this season, man.
Yeah.
You lost to Appalachian State. You lost to South Carolina.
You got 4 losses.
Come on, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Do something. It's like that.
But think about Michigan's AD sticking with Jimbo, or excuse me, Jim Harbaugh, sticking with him. And now the payoff. I told you in August. What did I say? Michigan's either win in 11 or 12.
You did say that. You did.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, they're losing one at the most.
They appear to be on that track.
And here they come. Here they come, Buckeyes. And you better get ready for the offensive line of Michigan. You better be ready for that. You weren't last year.
Expect
Here comes
the
Jim.
same thing. We're running. Blake Corum's going to run on you.
Donovan
Stop
Edwards.
us.
Donovan Edwards too.
Stop us.
Yeah. Hello.
One more call. If you could hear us, you're on early break. Go ahead. Who do we have here?
You've got your boy from Napa. Good morning,
The
fella.
West Coast.
Our boy from Napa. Bring
That's right.
Well, what do you got for us,
it.
Vince?
What do you got, Vince?
Okay. Let's see. Well, as far as the schedule conversation goes, I mean, it's one thing about college football, I mean, with the transfer portal and how teams can just sort of flip their roster in 1 year. I mean, granted, some teams are still going to be some programs are going to be more bankable than others, but just in general, I would say it's even more of a crapshoot because you don't know what each team's roster is going to look like. And for that matter, for Nebraska, we don't know what our roster is going to look like. And for that matter, who knows? That's also dependent on, who we bring in as a coach. So it's really hard. Now, as far as the crossovers are concerned, I think you're right, Sip. It's definitely tougher than last year. But Michigan, obviously, that's going to be daunting. But like Maryland and Michigan State, I mean, on a given year, they can be tough. But at the same time, I don't look at those two teams and say, "Oh my Lord, they make me tremble," like say Michigan did. And for that matter, you look at last year's Michigan team that went to the playoffs. I mean, they came into Lincoln, and quite frankly, we should have beat them. And then you look at the West. I don't know if anybody from the West is really going to ever establish themselves, or I shouldn't say ever, but anytime soon, going to establish themselves as head and shoulders above the rest of the crowd. But I'll tell you one thing though, fellas.
Whoa.
Speaking of the West, whether we like it or not, it's still in play for us. And we got a game on Friday night. And that means one thing. For 60 minutes, you go out there and you let those Illinois Fighting Illini that you know that you're there for 60 minutes. You open up, turn to kick ass, and you fight with bloody knuckles. Let's go!
Okay, do that.
Okay, Vince.
There was the storm. Did he say
Quick
they play
storm
on
today.
Friday night?
They play on Saturday.
but,
Vince.
but you can have bloody knuckles on
Saturday
Friday night. too.
2:30. I mean, if you want a pregame Friday night,
Well,
you can fight with bloody knuckles. But
Okay, now we got to get to Ross.
we do.
Ross Dellinger of SI.com.
Well, join us next on Early Break in the Ticket.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. It's football season, and that means you're tailgating with friends, or if you're like me, yelling at the TV during Vikings games. Trek CBD has a variety of products that help calm me down during the games, so don't scare my dog. But in the rare cases that I yell too much, there's CBD products for him, too, and all other pets. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Trek CBD has it all at 84th and Anderman. Trek CBD done right.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Join DP and Jay Foreman for Old School Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus. The guys will be broadcasting from the Barred Owl Patio Bar on the top floor. Come see the best views in town with great drinks on Thirsty Thursday from the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
This is Todd Riley with American Senior Benefits. If you qualify for Medicare, then you're probably getting bombarded with information right now about different options during the annual election period. It can all be incredibly overwhelming. We're here to help. The experts at American Senior Benefits can help you navigate all of your options and make the best decision for you. You can reach out via our Facebook page, American Senior Benefits Lincoln, or call me directly at 402-413-9510. Let us help you make an informed decision at American Senior Benefits.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and I'm back with Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, you said to me earlier you have a lot going on at the dealership. Can you tell our listeners about it?
Sure can, Charlie. As I've said before, if you don't see a vehicle on our lot that you're looking for, it's probably on its way soon.
So, how many new Hondas do you have in stock or on the way?
We have a total of over 325, Charlie, with a great selection of Pilots and Ridgelines in stock right now.
Well, we have been talking about the Honda of Lincoln way of buying cars for several months. How is that going?
People love it. We're buying all makes and models, whether they purchase the car from us or not. I mean, really, it's a no hassle, and we will pay them cash on the same day.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This, anybody who knows me knows I was cocky out of the womb.
Is Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Always nice to get a national view of college football from a writer that covers everything and was here locally recently. Ross Dellinger of SI.com joins us now. Good morning, Ross. Thanks for joining us. You were in Lincoln recently, and you were here talking about Mickey Joseph and talking to people about Mickey Joseph.
Right.
I'm curious right now. Mickey is inheriting a team right now that's 3-4 on the season. They had a bye week. They take on Illinois this upcoming weekend. He is 2-2 as a head coach himself. What do you believe right now is the viewpoint for Trev Alberts with Mickey Joseph? And do you believe he right now is the leader in the clubhouse to be the head coach next season at Nebraska, Ross?
I spent about 3 days up there, and from basically Sunday in the facility and Monday in the facility a little bit.
Okay.
Just kind of sitting with Mickey and following him around and sitting on some staff meetings and stuff. And it was a good time. I enjoyed the trip, especially on Saturday and Sunday when it was like 80 degrees before winter hit on Monday. I tell people I got all the 4 seasons in my 3 days in Nebraska. It's incredible. But it was great. I think to answer your question, before I got there, I'll be honest, I didn't really think that Mickey Joseph's chances of landing the permanent job were all that high. And then I got there and spent a little time, not just in the facility, but talking to people around town a little bit, going to some places around town. And it certainly, the chances are higher than I ever imagined. I think that he is being pretty embraced by the fans there, the fan base, the alumni, the former players. I talked to a few former players who had kind of lauded Mickey and said that they had somewhat the pulse of the fan base, and that the fan base really was behind Mickey to get the full-time job. So, I had a different perception before I arrived, and certainly that changed as after leaving and spending a few days there.
Ross Dellinger joins us from Sports Illustrated. Now, Ross, this is interesting. I mean, you spent some time in the facility. You spent time with Mickey in the facility and his staff. You've been around. I mean, you've covered college football for a period, and you've been around big-time head coaches. When you size up Mickey in that big chair, does he seem comfortable in it? Does it seem natural for him? Did anything strike you in that regard?
Well, he does, and I knew Mickey going back to his days in Louisiana. While I was a beat writer covering LSU, and so I knew Mickey. I knew his personality. I knew that him as a head coach, he was going to be a certain type of head coach. I feel like there's different kind of head coaches out there. There's those that call plays, offensively, are a little more introverted, more schematic guys, and then there are the recruiters and the motivators and the coaches that probably bond with players more. And I think Mickey is the latter. He is the motivator and the recruiter and the guy who is going to have great relationships with the players and know everybody on his team. And it's a lot like Ed Orgeron, former LSU head coach and someone that Mickey worked under. He's got that energy and that kind of recruiting drive and, just maybe not going to call plays and probably needs to surround himself with coordinators to handle that stuff. But he's going to do everything else and preside over the program as kind of the CEO. And I think that's what Mickey is. And he did seem very comfortable. I was struck. It's probably because I was there on this day, on Sunday. It's more of it was Sunday coming off a bye week, so it's more of like a recruiting day. And the amount of time spent in the office on recruiting, was stunning, especially for him amassing a class that, he might never see.
Yeah, good point. Ross Dellinger joins us from Sports Illustrated. So it sounds to me like, the type of things I wonder, Ross, for a job of this magnitude, this is a big job. Does he have the presence, the overall presence? Did you feel that, like in a staff meeting? Do you know who's boss when you're up there?
Yeah, there's a kind of a leadership quality, right? That kind of you're getting at is like a vocal leadership quality, and I sat in a couple of staff meetings, and it was pretty obvious in them, who the boss was. They went. I think there's over an hour staff meeting I sat in where they poured over recruiting and recruits they had evaluated and just went and saw during the bye week. And, I remember Mickey looking at an assistant and saying, talking about a recruit, saying, is this guy a day one starter? Is he a day one starter? Can we start him immediately? Just getting it out of this assistant coach who had seen this prospect, trying to get out of him everything he could about this recruit and where he would project. And if he's not a day one starter, as Mickey told him, we need to move on. We need to look at others. We need to look at maybe the junior college ranks, or maybe the transfer portal, or develop guys we already have. So he was very clear. He was very stern on things. His messaging was there. It was at times it was pretty like I said, pretty stern. I think I recall one time, it's in the story that'll be coming out tomorrow on all of this on that side. But Mickey says something to the effect of, we need really effing good football players, and we need them now. And I have never seen a good coach with bad football players, and I've never seen a bad coach with good football players. So his whole motto is getting players into the program, recruiting, getting them, developing them. That was a big focus I took away from my time with him, is how important getting good players was. One of the other things he said that was really interesting, because a lot of people obviously talk about Mickey and his ties to the 2019 LSU national championship team. He coached receivers on that team, including Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and got them to LSU and developed them and managed the room. And he said, people talk about that 2019 LSU team and they say, well, you had good players. And he said, well, yeah, we had good players. That's how you win football games. You get good players. So that's a big theme of inside the facility.
Interesting. Thank you, Ross.
By Ross Dellinger of Sports Illustrated. Ross, so in terms of his potential to be the next full-time head coach, is there a win total he has to get to this season, in your opinion, or not? And if he does it, do you think there's somebody Nebraska should obviously pursue if they go beyond Mickey Joseph?
Yeah. So it's funny. I talked to Mickey about win totals. I think his comment was, we don't know how many games we have to win, but we can, quote, make it hard on them. Talking about Trev Alberts, making it a difficult, giving him a difficult decision. They got 5 games left. They are somehow a win away this weekend from being tied with the Big Ten West lead. I don't know if that says something about the Big Ten West.
It does.
Or says, yes. So you would think in the 5 games to get the full-time job, gosh, you would think Mickey would have to go at least the bare minimum, go 3-2 and get Nebraska to a bowl game. That would seem to me that at the bare minimum something you'd have to do, and it is something that actually former Nebraska quarterback Eric Crouch, I talked to him for the story, and he mentioned that. He said, if Mickey can get us to a bowl game, they've got to seriously look at him. And so I think probably the best case scenario is going 4-1. It seems like a long shot, and you would think if you go 4-1, then Trev Alberts will have a very hard decision.
Ross Dellinger joins us from Sports Illustrated. Ross spent some time here over the weekend and into the week. Ross, what did you think of Lincoln? This was your first trip to our humble little town. What did you think of it?
Yeah, it was great. I went Saturday night. I got there Saturday afternoon, and Saturday night I went to the Haymarket area, which was cool. Aside from the hour that the lights went out, that was bizarre. Like half of the Haymarket bar district around 10 p.m. on Saturday had like a blackout of some sort. So that was interesting walking through the streets and seeing the bars were still full, of course, packed with people. Just it was like pitch black in there. Everybody was drinking their beer and cocktails in the dark. That was interesting, but it was good. I took a little jog around campus. Beautiful area, incredible facilities. That kind of struck me. Not that was surprising, but the the stadium and the football facility, the old football facility they're currently in, would probably be suitable for many teams, and they're building a brand new one. So that's also something that struck me is just a lot of people from the outside will say, Nebraska's not a good job anymore. It's not one of the best jobs in the country anymore. And you go there and you see how much people love the program, and you read about the streak and the sellout streak, and this obviously has a loyal fan base who gives money. I mean, $160 million new football facility. They're one of the top schools for NIL, I know as well. I mean, they've got money. They've got a loyal fan base. They've got great facilities. They've got incredible history and tradition. The one thing they're lacking, and I wrote about this in the story, is a very close recruiting footprint.
Right.
And that's what, Mickey sent his coaches off to Georgia and Arizona and Missouri, and up in Massachusetts, they visited some guys down in Florida, Texas. He was sending them all over the country because that's what you have to do there.
Just to confirm, Ross, your story comes out tomorrow about Mickey Joseph. Is that right?
Yes, SI.com tomorrow morning. Yep.
Oh, great.
We will look forward to
That's
that.
great.
I'm sure we'll discuss that more tomorrow and on Monday as well. So,
Ross, we really appreciate this. That was excellent stuff.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, good stuff. That's Ross Dellinger of SI.com. Again, tomorrow you will see an article dropped by him regarding Mickey Joseph, his conversation he had with him, and Eric Crouch, he said he talked to as well.
Yeah, probably talked to a couple other players. Now, Ross had that part of our interview where I got the chills.
Which part was that?
Which part?
Let's see.
What do you think? Which part you think?
Oh,
it was?
yeah. We need some effing football players.
Yeah.
That part.
Now.
That's Mickey's words
Now.
to Ross.
Now. See, Nebraska fans, they're listening to this show, will love that.
Well, I liked his answer regarding LSU. He was like, yeah, we got good football players. That's
Right.
why we won. We got those players here. That's what happens.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, this is going to get interesting.
Don't you want it to, though? That's a good sign that this season ended up well.
Yeah, I do. I mean, you need a recruiter here.
And he can recruit.
I know. I mean, you can't settle. I feel like I'm just going to say, I think Frost settled too often. Settled for players that aren't the kind of guys that are going to push you over the top. I always say it, Jake, and I say it all the time. You got to take down Ohio State. How do you do that? It just can't be a nice little cute story like Northwestern.
You can't be lazy in recruiting.
No, you just
This
can't.
place
you can't,
has to be
you
incredibly.
can't settle for a cute little story. No, you got to build a machine like they got it in Columbus and they got in Ann Arbor. You got to build a machine.
I'd like to know from Mickey how much NIL is even a part of the conversation with him in recruiting.
Oh, it's big. Of course it's big.
But like in the
you're
past,
not getting Trey Palmer here.
In the past, though, when he got those guys to LSU.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, there was no NIL then.
I know.
There's no NIL.
I'm curious how his conversations, and how much is
Give
him
Mickey
versus
some money
NIL.
on the road and see what that looks like.
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah. Hello.
He got Trey Palmer here.
He did.
He's the top-rated receiver in the country.
He's been really good so far.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for Trey, Mickey. Rick Heyman's Song of the Day is next on Early Break on the Ticket.
Yesterday, your water heater worked just fine. Today, surprise! When you're out of hot water, just call the plumbers at Bryant. In most cases, you can get same-day water heater replacement. What you won't get is a costly surprise with the bill. At Bryant, the price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. No last-minute extras for piping or ventilation alterations. Need a new water heater? Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's postgame show and the final word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's postgame show and the final word. Live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and I'm back with Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, you said to me earlier you have a lot going on at the dealership. Can you tell our listeners about it?
Sure can, Charlie. As I've said before, if you don't see a vehicle on our lot that you're looking for, it's probably on its way soon.
So, how many new Hondas do you have in stock or on the way?
We have a total of over 325, Charlie, with a great selection of Pilots and Ridgelines in stock right now.
Well, we have been talking about the Honda of Lincoln way of buying cars for several months. How is that going?
People love it. We're buying all makes and models, whether they purchase the car from us or not. I mean, really, it's a no hassle, and we will pay them cash on the same day.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices. Helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Hey guys, Nick Sadert here, and I want to tell you about my friends at Spine and Sports Chiropractic. I experienced a herniated disc in my lower back a few years ago, and thanks to the folks at Spine and Sports, I got back to feeling 100%. At Spine and Sports, they use the active release technique, which involves the soft tissue and can alleviate headaches, shoulder pain, plantar fasciitis, and more. What I like most about the ART method is that your doctor will construct a plan that fits your needs because the technique is not a cookie-cutter approach. Allow Spine and Sports Chiropractic to help you feel better. Set up your appointment today by giving them a call at 402-261-6841.
Breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, hatch mac burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant. You can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets.
Look at your car. It's filthy and probably has a few dings and nicks all over it. Don't be that guy. Get it upgraded and repaired at Renew Your Auto. At Renew Your Auto, they offer tons of services: ceramic coating, window tinting, paintless dent repair, washes and details, bed liners, body shop, and more. Where can you go to get services like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at renewyourauto.com. See what Renew can do for you.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Move over, Jake.
I'm moving. Jeez.
Thursdays are reserved for a man with a wider range of music knowledge than Jake could ever dream of.
This is the golden era. You would hear this on any radio station. You know, it wasn't like it is now.
Okay.
You know, you got country, you got R&B, you got pop, you got rap, you got rock. They didn't have that then. You heard everything.
A man who knows a good song when he hears it, just as much as a good diamond when he sees it.
You get a diamond!
Yes, I do get a diamond. I get a diamond, and that makes me happy.
It's time for Rick Heyman's Song of the Day, sponsored by Sartor Heyman Jewelers, on Early Break on 93.7 The Ticket.
All right, I guess it's more than I should ask, but won't you wait for me? Please wait for me, although I know the light is fading fast. Yes, it is. love is what it does, and ours is doing nothing. But all the time we spend, it must be good for something. Please forgive all the disturbance I'm creating. But you got a lot to learn if you think that I'm not waiting for you. Wait for me, please. Wait for me, oh Lord. I guess that's more.
Song of the day is Wait for Me by Daryl Hall and Pat Monahan of Train. 464-568-51 is bad. 10 is good. Text your rating on the Sauter Heyman Jewelers Song of the Day. Rick Heyman's song today.
The light is fading fast. La, 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 la. But you got a lot to learn if you think that I'm not waiting for you.
Once again, your song of the day, Wait for Me by Daryl Hall and Pat Monahan of Train. 464-568-51 is bad. 10 is good. Text your rating on Rick Heyman's Sauter Heyman Jewelers Song of the Day.
Rick finds a gem and presents it to a beautiful, powerful ballad. That's a ballad. Jake.
Ballad. It's a ballad. That's a ballad. Not what I say was a ballad by Kiss the other day.
I want to rock and roll all night.
What an idiot.
Anyway.
I was made for loving you.
Yeah, that was it.
You were made for loving me.
Anyway,
Whoops.
Rick, good job. Thank you. Rating 9.9.
Ooh,
I mean 9.0. 9.0.
How about this? I'm going to go above you. 9.2. That's a great
You like
sound. That's
that?
a beautiful sound.
Wow, you're not exactly Mr. Sentimental either.
I am too. We're joined now by Rick Heyman, Sauter
No, you're
Heyman
not.
Jewelers. A 9 for Sip, a 9.2 for me. Rick, good work this morning.
Wow. Thanks, guys. That's great.
You're welcome.
That's a great song.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's not Beth. It's not I Want to Rock and Roll All Night, but it's
That's a little-
pretty good.
little
It's
different
pretty
than-
good,
A little
yeah.
different than Kiss, isn't it?
That's really good. Thanks. Well, how'd you find that one?
You know, I'll tell you that in a minute. Daryl Hall, Daryl Franklin Hohl, H-O-H-L. That was a trivia question back when we were doing our top 52 albums of all time for you, Sip. H-O-H-L is his real name.
Not Hall.
Hohl.
Oh, okay.
H-O-H-L.
H-O-H-L. Yeah, that wouldn't sound
Anyway.
good on it. That wouldn't sound good when
No,
Casey
no,
Kasem
Daryl
presents
Hall.
it. Yeah.
He's from Pennsylvania, close to Pittsburgh. This is from Daryl's house. You ever watch that?
I have. When I used to watch
Yeah.
TV, I did watch that. Yes. Yes.
Well, it's on YouTube now.
Okay.
I mean, if you're bored and you just want to check out some incredible musicians and songs and other artists that are playing with Daryl, it's pretty hard to beat. It's about as good as it gets. So Live from Daryl's House started in 2007. It was a TV show originally.
Yeah.
It was in his home in Millertown, New York, and recently it's from his club Daryl's House in Pawling, New York, which he's got a club, a bar, and a restaurant now.
Cool.
And I'm on their website right now, and he's got some fantastic bands coming in there, and the menu looks incredible. He needs to bring one of these out to Ashland or Omaha.
Let's do it.
But
Come on, Daryl.
be like a Jimmy Buffett deal.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be really cool, by the way.
Yeah, so he's had Ben Folds, Johnny Resnick, CeeLo Green, the OJ, Smokey Robinson, Joe Walsh, Rob Thomas, Todd Rundgren, Darius Rucker, Cheap Trick, Aaron Neville, Chuck Prophet, Travis McCoy, Ray Manzarek of the Doors, and of course just tons and tons of others. I don't know how many shows there are, but it's absolutely worth watching, especially if you got a good stereo around your TV.
Okay.
What he said in Blues and Soul magazine of the show was that I've been touring my whole life, really, and you can't be everywhere. I'm getting to the age where I only want to be on the road so much. So he decided to start this. He's had several different band members who have come through there that are pretty famous that play with him on a consistent basis. So amazing song. The whole Pat Monahan show is fantastic, and I didn't know anything about the guy until I started watching Daryl. So I'm introduced to other artists this way. I love it. So,
Okay, great.
with that in mind, Stump the Sippers.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay, is Daryl older or younger than 75?
Younger. Give me a diamond.
You get a CZ 76.
Dang it. That he's okay. That is startling to me.
That's stunning.
Stunning.
He
Like-
still looks and sounds as good as he did the day he started.
Man, how's that happen?
Okay. I don't know. Is Daryl a Christian, a Mormon, or a Jew?
Daryl Hole is Jewish.
You get a diamond. He converted in 1972
Okay, 1 for 2.
All right, thank you.
when he married his first wife. And is he or is he not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
There's a question. Hall and Oates is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Give me a diamond. Thank you.
You get 2 diamonds, 2014.
Hey,
2 for 3, not bad.
And that is a crime, honestly. 2014 to put them in. Are you kidding me?
Too late.
Took too long. Took
Too
too
late.
long.
Yeah.
They do
Yeah.
that a little bit. They do that.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but they're in, Rick. I mean, there's no reason to be angry.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in.
All right, Rick.
All I got.
Before I let you go, what's going on right now at Sartor Heyman Jewelers?
Hey, you got to go to our website right now, sartorheyman.com.
Okay.
We just rolled out our new diamond line. It's called Heartland Diamonds. It's the highest performing diamond ever, proven with light performance certificates. It's got 32 extra facets on it. Now, these are brilliant. They're incredibly dazzling. They also show the famous hearts and arrows when you look through the little scope. And they're 100% real natural diamonds. They're not that lab-created stuff. They're real. So check us out. It's worth it just to go look at the pictures. I mean, it's amazing.
Okay.
They're beautiful. SartorHeyman.com. And check us out on Facebook at Sartor Heyman. And I'll put some more stuff about Daryl Hall on my personal Facebook at Rick Heyman.
Great job.
Rick,
Great job.
always
Thank
great
you.
stuff. Thanks for the time. We will chat with you again next week.
Bye-bye.
Rick Heyman, Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Today's song of the day, Wait for Me by Daryl Hall and Pat Monahan.
Schaefer's got tough acts to follow. Ross Dellinger was great. Rick Heyman was superb. Schaefer has a tough act to follow.
He's in studio for the full hour next on Early Break and the Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. It's football season, and that means you're tailgating with friends, or if you're like me, yelling at the TV during Vikings games. Trek CBD has a variety of products that help calm me down during the games, so don't scare my dog. But in the rare cases that I yell too much, there's CBD products for him, too, and all other pets. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Trek CBD has it all at 84th and Anderson. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Join us on Friday from 4 to 6 at Bourbon Street as we get you ready for Saturday's game against Illinois. Old School Jay Foreman and DP goes from 4 to 6 p.m. Stop by for some of the best drinks and Cajun food in town at Bourbon Street at 8th and Q.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, hatch mac burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant. You can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets.
At Venue Catering and Events, we offer two of the most historic ballrooms in Lincoln. The Jasmine Room, located in the historic Grand Manse in the heart of downtown, featuring a beautiful built-in antique bar, spacious patio, and soaring skylit ceilings. The Scottish Rite Ballroom, located just 2 blocks from the state's capital, boasts intricate hand-carved columns, rich dark wood floors, and lavish chandeliers. The perfect venues to host your wedding, corporate event, or much more. For availability and more information, call us at 402-603-6483.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
You want to join a team of industry leaders, a team where you can learn and grow, a team that treats you right. Well, don't hesitate to look at all the great career opportunities at Acres Equipment, the largest John Deere dealer network in Nebraska. We offer industry-leading wages, state-of-the-art benefits, and a great culture that focuses on both our customers and our employees. Find your next career opportunity at acres.com/careers.
What does continuing education mean to you? At Southeast Community College, it means helping you advance. Whether that's a fundamental course in accounting or marketing to help your business, or helping you become a better leader, SCC can help you take the next step. Financial assistance is available too. Learn more about our business development classes at southeast.edu/continuing education. SCC, your path to personal and professional development.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at freedmanlaw.com today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking here in Louisville. We are really hitting on all cylinders right now, and deals are off the charts. We've got a lot more new 2022 and 2023 Chevrolet and GMC inventory than we've had in a long time. So make sure you check us out online, or do even better, stop on in the store and let us show you one in person. Our pre-owned lot is plumb full, so take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Welcome back to Hour 2 on a Thursday. Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, Early Break. It's been a very interesting show so far. Fun, Schaefer, and interesting. We had Ross Dellinger of SI.com on. He had an interview. He talked with Mickey Joseph for a couple days here in Lincoln recently.
Okay.
And you can find his article coming out tomorrow on SI.com. He dropped some good nuggets there for Mickey. Really interesting stuff.
So he was
from Ross
embedded,
Dellinger.
huh?
Yeah, that's the well-embedded.
He's embedded
with the team.
Yeah, he told the staff meeting. He told the staff we need some effing players. We need some effing players. TMZ. We have to get the TMZ problem.
Okay. By the way, Mike Schaefer with us 24/7
Yes.
Sports for the Mike Schaefer Hour.
Schaefer will be interested.
Sponsored by Trek CBD. What did you got? Sip always. I love Sip's dives through Twitter because it gets kind of crazy sometimes. And this one caught him off guard during the commercial break. He had to bring it to the air.
Jerry Lee Lewis is trending. So I just
what did you
naturally,
say to me?
when Schaefer does this, whenever you see someone trending, that you're interested in, you wonder why he's trending. Jerry
Right now, there's
Lewis.
about 3 specific reasons why anyone sort of trends at this point.
And what are they?
You're dead.
Number 1.
You have done something in which you're offering a public apology and it's going poorly.
And number 3.
And then I had another one in my brain and it's just completely gone at this point in time.
You've been canceled?
Been canceled or something like that.
Maybe. I mean, if this was a few years ago, you'd say it probably during the height of the Me Too stuff. So then you
Okay.
just sort of assume.
Yeah, if you see an
Something's-
actor,
yeah,
cancel.
something's coming out there.
Spacey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Jerry
is
Lee
he
Lewis.
trending for different reasons than Kanye? Is that what you're saying?
Here's the
yes.
Yeah. Jerry Lee Lewis is trending, and I thought, is he dead?
That's what
is
he did say,
Oh
yeah.
God, did he die? The lead to the story in TMZ is Jerry Lewis is not dead, as we previously reported.
Oh no, TMZ.
They write this. We're told the rock and roll legend is alive, living in Memphis. Earlier today, we were told by someone claiming to be Lewis's rep that he had passed. That turns out not to be the case.
Oh no.
And they say this. TMZ regrets the air.
Well,
I'm sure that you do.
I'm glad they were
alive.
That's just that's think about it. There's a lot of people today walking around think Jerry Lee Lewis is dead because they don't see that.
They didn't see the after report.
They don't see that. Don't report that I'm dead when I die.
Jerry Lee Lewis is
before I
indeed
die,
alive.
Jake.
He's alive.
Yeah.
Steve Sipple's dead, but he's right there talking.
Yeah, he looks. I may look dead, and Jerry Lee Lewis may look dead. but
To
he's
clear up any confusion, can you just tweet "I am alive" every morning, like before you start the show?
Good morning,
That
world.
way we
I'm
just
still
know.
alive.
And then what's going to happen is invariably there'll be a day you forget, and we all get concerned, and then we
Sipple's
wonder.
dead.
And then we're reaching out to people and say,
Hey,
"Hey, have you
Sipple,
seen
is
Sipple?
Sipple
You
all right?
heard from Sipple?"
Just report that I'm dead, and then you can
You can
regret
say it,
the
but
air later.
I'm alive, baby.
All right, Schaefer. What else you want to talk to Schaefer about?
Well, a lot of stuff.
There's a lot.
Because
of
there's
stuff.
a lot of things to talk
schedule.
about.
Schedule.
Yeah, the schedule's out for Nebraska football for 2023. The first 2 games are on the road.
Yeah.
Minnesota, a Thursday night in Minneapolis. Then they go to Colorado after that, and then a lot of home games before you go on the road to Illinois in early October. Let's start with the first 2 games on the road. Nebraska has not been on the road for the first 2 games for 70 years? Is that what it was, Sip? Something like that? It's been a long, long time. Minnesota and Colorado off the bat. What were your impressions of seeing 2 road games to begin the season?
Well, I think we kind of knew it, right? Like this was the schedule that had existed previously. The difference now is it's a Thursday game.
Yep.
And that thwarts some ideas that folks had that maybe like some other teams, because Nebraska was playing a conference game right away, they can move up a game to week 0 and play an opponent there at home, and then you can go, home, road. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, there's like a comic factor to me that Nebraska fans won't get to see their new head coach in his first home game until game 3. I find that comical in a way that it doesn't really matter.
It's a dark
Like
way.
it's a completely irrelevant, doesn't matter thing, but it's kind of funny because it's annoying, I imagine, to some level of fan. So that's the type of terrible person I am. But
That was an interesting take. Yes.
I like conference games right off the bat. I like watching teams like this play each other. I mean, who among us was not very interested in Purdue Penn State to start the year? That Thursday night game. Who among us was not interested in Purdue Northwestern several years ago, or Minnesota Ohio State when that was a Friday?
Oh, that
game?
was big. That was big.
These teams play it. Nebraska can do it too. I don't need to hear the whining about the schedule or how unfair it is or why they can't ever just get the Kansas State start of 3-0 against 3 tomato cans. And it's football.
Wouldn't
Show
that be
up
nice
and
for
play.
your first head coach, though?
For as much as we hear people about how there's this de-evolution of standard of what Nebraska football is, 25 years ago, if Nebraska opened the season against Minnesota on a Thursday, it'd be a welcome challenge. Nobody would care. It'd be great to see Nebraska start the year off against an opponent that's regarded relatively highly. What a challenge. Now it's just like everyone just grabs and clutches their pearls and cries about how difficult it is. And when is Nebraska going to get a normal start to their schedule? Like,
are we hearing that? Did you hear that on the board?
Yeah, I mean, I felt
board?
like that was like a complaint.
The problem, it wouldn't be a problem if Nebraska had been winning those games.
Well, that's
if,
the
if
thing.
Nebraska beat Northwestern, if they beat Illinois last year, you'd say, yeah, welcome this challenge.
You know what you can do? You can win the damn football games. Like, I felt this when Bill Moose was complaining in 2020. And, like, everyone has to play games. They're on your schedule. You have to beat the teams that you play. Is it unfortunate that Iowa never seems to draw Michigan and Ohio State? Yes, but that's whatever reason. That's how the schedule got drawn up. You play who you play. Like, I just don't see a reason to get bent out of shape over these things.
I was not bent out of shape. I think it's going to be I think it's great for Nebraska fans because they can drive to these first two games.
Well, yeah. I mean,
And the weather will be
opponents
they
go.
will.
The weather will be beautiful.
This is a lot better than a game over in Ireland, in my opinion.
I got to get on message boards more often. I don't because I didn't
reverse of what you
don't
said.
do that. Don't do
Well, I mean, to get the vibe. I didn't know that. I mean, I thought when I saw it, my thought was, okay, this is pretty cool for Nebraska fans.
It's not like it's everybody. It's
Right.
just a percentage of people that are upset by it. You know, that's kind of what your brain takes away. I mean, I imagine most people look at it and it's kind of like, okay, that's how the schedule's.
Colorado will be like a home game.
Yeah.
Like an interesting home game.
We view that as 65% Nebraska fans in that game.
I would expect a high number.
Is that too far? Are we going too far with 60%?
I mean, you were there in 2019,
Right.
You know what you saw. I think
Yeah.
Jake, did you go to that?
I was there.
Jake
I was kind of there.
Sort of there.
I was there, kind of. Sip saw me in the press box. Let's just go with that.
The press box.
They served meatloaf there. That was great.
I didn't have any.
It
of
was
that.
that was a nice meal.
They served meatloaf.
Well, yeah, it was very unusual, but
Yes,
it
that was.
was very good.
I don't remember that because I'm sure I bypassed it.
I completely remember it because I've never seen that happen.
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Meatloaf
legit-
produced in mass quantity just seems dangerous. to
Yeah,
me.
I'm with you there.
Meatloaf to feed 100.
I don't know. Well, and it's also their setup is just like jammed in the far corner. It's almost buffet style. Like
It
a
is buffet
potluck,
style,
It was
yeah.
in the corner, yeah.
Yeah.
remember that.
Potluck meatloaf, no go for me.
It was good.
Okay. I'll take
It
your
was
word
good.
for it.
It
Anyway,
was like smoked meatloaf.
really?
Yeah, it was like a barbecue joint catered it in.
Whoa. Okay, we got to get back on track.
Sorry, I completely ruined the show.
No, you didn't.
Meatloaf at the Colorado.
Okay,
Cup.
what about the
That was my big takeaway, clearly, from that game.
another takeaway from this schedule is the crossovers, which
Michigan, Maryland, and
Michigan State.
Michigan State on the road.
So you get
Two of those are home
Michigan.
games.
Yeah, you get Michigan and Lincoln on September 30th. You go to East Lansing on November 4th, and you get Maryland and Lincoln November 11th. So that's not easy.
I got to compliment you. You've got the dates down and everything. I am not at that point yet. Like, it takes me probably a good week of just kind of looking at it to get it all organized, and then I can kind of do it.
Mhm.
I'm not there.
Well, I was
Good for you.
struck by Michigan coming in that early, and I was struck by those games, which some people are saying, I know, well, that's not that bad going to Michigan State and playing Maryland back to back in November. I don't know. It seems pretty hard. That's not easy. It could be worse.
Tongue of a
Yeah.
back next year for Maryland. What year is he?
I
Oh,
think he will be off to the NFL.
Okay,
I
well,
mean,
that
it's his
helps.
fourth
That
or
helps
fifth
then.
year.
Big time.
Again, I don't project depth charts in this day
I
and
feel
age.
like Nebraska usually plays Michigan State in November. At least that's kind of when it's been most of the time.
Yeah, I don't think that will be an easy game.
Yeah.
Well, no.
No.
Why would I? Why? And I was telling Jake, in this day and age, why do we say things like that?
Easy game?
Well, the roster turnover is such that it's hard to really even project these games.
Yeah, I think it's also, it's not unfair to acknowledge that Nebraska's been in a roster churn for several years and it hasn't resulted in a quick fix. So
Right.
you shouldn't expect one for 2023.
Right. And Tucker might revamp again.
Sure.
Right.
He's gonna have to.
Right. So why would we try to figure out what Michigan State is right now? It's a fool's errand, basically.
I think Peyton Thorne could still be there, their quarterback. What is around him is going to be subject to who stays and what they land in the portal.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. There's schedule talk.
Honestly, the portal, as much as anything, has made it difficult to basically just like look far ahead into the future.
That's what I was
of what you're going to play.
What I've
could
been
look
saying
totally
to Jake.
different next season. All of them.
Right.
That'd be wonderful.
It's been. I know we're all sort of for many years we look at these schedules and we project what teams are going to look like. Why? I'm suggesting what Schaefer just said. Why do it? I mean, the portal changes everything. Nebraska's going to look a lot different.
Yeah, there's certain teams that you have an indication, like Ohio State's going to be good, portal or no portal.
True.
You assume Michigan's going to be good, portal or no portal.
Mhm.
And the hope is someday Nebraska can be a team that's
Like that.
assumed to be
like Georgia and Alabama, not Tennessee, Jake.
Tennessee's good this year.
Yeah, they're good this year, but what was that? Is that sustainable? I don't know.
We'll see. We don't know. Okay, so Nebraska plays Minnesota to begin next season. So I'm curious, Schaefer. At this point, we have about a month to go until a decision is made at the head coach spot. Is it going to be Mickey? Is it going to be somebody else? I mean, at this point, will you be surprised if it's not Mickey, or what? How do you stand at this point? Or if you, or maybe surprised if it is Mickey?
Last week, I offered to the Husker 24/7 crew a question on our podcast.
Okay.
It was essentially, if you had to guess right now, is it Mickey or the field for Nebraska's head coach?
Yeah, what was the answer?
And they both went field. I went Mickey.
Ooh.
So there's
Brunson,
obviously
Christofferson.
Yep. So there's obviously, it's not like there's any uniformity yet, one way or the other. But I continue to believe that if Nebraska plays adequately well over these next 5 games, like if they win 2 of them, I wouldn't be surprised at all if after the Iowa game it's announced that Mickey Joseph is Nebraska's head coach.
Whoa.
Would not be surprised.
Bowl game or not?
Yeah, I don't know that he has to make a bowl game if Trev Alberts determines that he likes what he saw from Mickey Joseph in his first go around with a flawed roster in a tough situation. So if he thinks this is a guy that can build a program and he wants to see more based on, his experience of working with them. And as Mickey Joseph has kind of himself said, he's in the chair right now. I mean, he's auditioning for the job in a way that nobody else gets to. He's having conversations with Trev Alberts. That's basically a future look of what it would be like if Mickey Joseph was the head coach. Like, you get a lot of visual there if you're Trev. If you think that you're seeing things that go beyond just a straight result on the field that gives you an indication that this guy can be your next head coach, you're going to get that in a way that you won't, with Lance Leipold or Matt Campbell or Matt Rule or whatever. So I continue to think if you were making a betting favorite, I would make Mickey Joseph the favorite.
Because he's in the chair.
Right.
I mean, if you're an AD,
and I think his relationship with Trev is strong enough that they might have already had some of these future conversations of like, this is what it looks like. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to take things. It's not what you see right now. I mean, if you're Mickey Joseph, you're probably making a little bit of a pitch. Like, what you're getting right now is me in survival mode. What you're going to get if you hire me isn't going to look exactly like this.
What's going on in one way you can look at this is if you're another AD, you study this situation. And one takeaway is if you are inclined toward hiring someone from the outside, don't put a legit candidate in the interim chair.
Yeah.
Because that interim candidate may pick up a lot of momentum, which Mickey has, even at 2-2, Mike.
Yeah.
Even at 2-2. Now, here's what's happening. Ross Dellinger of SI.com is going to drop a story tomorrow morning, and it's going to mean more momentum for Mickey.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Because he's going to come off well. He's tells the staff in a meeting, we need effing players. Fans are going to love that, and it's going to continue to grow. Now, it'll not grow. It'll stop. Growth will stop to that conversation. Momentum will halt if Illinois comes in here and bullies Nebraska around, right? If they push Nebraska around for 60 minutes and win easily, a lot of the Mickey talk will subside substantially, right?
I don't know if it'll be substantial because I think Illinois is viewed as pretty good. And so the idea being that if Nebraska is a flop, because I think what has happened is you have people that are taking it this isn't the Nebraska that you're expecting under Mickey Joseph. So you're trying to separate those
Right.
two things.
Good point.
Into two different
It's not his
categories.
players.
Good point.
And
All
I
his
look
players.
at, that Purdue game, whereas, some people look at it as a loss to Purdue. I think that you saw in there some real, window into how he can coach. Like they had to play a specific way
Mhm.
to have a chance in that game.
And they did.
And they actually did what they needed to do. They just couldn't score enough points or get a key stop. And that, that game had all the potential to be 54-10 the way that it started.
Yeah.
So I give them a lot of credit from a coaching standpoint to put Nebraska in a position in which they could have won that game.
The question people are going to have regarding Mickey, if he's the coach next year, is, and I think I believe he could do it, but he's never had to assemble a staff before.
That is not a concern.
You don't think it's
really not. I think between his connections in the football world, his brother in the NFL, like he's got enough people that he can go to find quality candidates. And quite frankly, with Kingsbury standing with the Cardinals, could Vance Joseph be on Nebraska's staff? Could you turn around and go to Trev Alberts and be like,
yes,
I'm bringing in my brother, an NFL defensive coordinator, a former NFL head coach. He's going to be right here with me as we go through this, a guy that's universally loved by the players in the NFL. Like, I don't know if Vance Joseph wants this or not, but if that's an option and you can take that to Trev Alberts right away, I don't know that Trev Alberts is like, yeah, I've got concerns about Vance Joseph putting together his staff.
No. If Mickey can play that card,
Yeah.
that's a big card.
Big card.
Well, and then I think you would hold over a couple people. Like we're probably talking about 6 or 7 hires, and the biggest of which is going to be who runs your off-season stuff, your strength and conditioning, and the offensive line.
Yeah,
coach.
who's Mickey have for
Those
that?
are the 2 biggest hires. Those are the ones
Totally
where
agree.
he's got to come in with names, and those names need to have a resume that makes Trev Alberts sit there and kind of nod a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
The more I talk about this, the more I'm convinced that this is the odds-on favorite of what happened.
I know. Again, you put someone in that chair that's good or that's pretty good, or at least can captivate the fan base and spark your imagination. He's in a good spot. I mean, Priscilla's telling Derek, DP, on that podcast that you're gonna have to wrestle this job away from my husband. I mean,
he wants it. You can tell.
Yeah.
So can we say this? He wants the job. 'Cause that's been a weird undertone.
Weird undertone.
Week of
Sipple, does he
people-
even want this job? I get that all the time. I'm like, what do you think? I mean, he doesn't.
That was a pretty good Pelini right there.
He
That was
doesn't
one
want-
of the tough early moments of my career, asking a question and then getting a "What do you think?" from Bo as he's staring you down, and I'm
$7
just jotting
million.
in a notepad. What do I think? Because I can't return that glare as a college senior.
$7 million or whatever it's going. I mean, my God, yeah, he wants the job, and his wife told DP that. So scratch.
So
that one.
we could just kill that.
Scratch that.
Mickey
one.
Joseph wants the head
If you're
coach
listening and you belong to a message board, spread the word. Mickey Joseph wants.
Here's the
job.
deal. Speaking of message boards, now they're going to be a lot of people on message boards are going to be very annoyed with this conversation because there's a lot of pushback.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people think you need someone in that chair that's more experienced, has Power 5
there's-
head coaching experience, which
there's
I
a-
get that. I get that. I
there's-
totally get it.
A lot of concern that if Nebraska can't get this hire right, it's just going to continue to spiral to the point where it makes it even harder for the next and then the next. And so there's a real fear aspect to all of this.
Like a texture says there on that note, if it's Mickey, we are settling.
Ooh. Here's where you're not settling though. And Schaefer understands this acutely. What I think people overlook with Mickey is the recruiting element.
Yeah.
I think we've settled in for players here. Mickey will not settle for players for a substandard roster. He will not.
There's two things
I
have
disagree
no-
with that.
Yeah, I have no concern about what Mickey Joseph can put together in terms of a staff that can recruit. I have none. I think Nebraska will be a top 20 recruiting operation the entire time. Like, this year it'll be a little bit tough, but if he gets a full-time job, I think they have some potential big moves left on that board that could change some of the recruiting rankings. I have no concern about him putting together a top 20 class every year going forward. Now, does that talent stay in Lincoln and develop in Lincoln over time? That's been as big of an issue as anything else.
Well, you would think Mickey, because of his overall recruiting prowess, his personality, his mindfulness about the program in general, will do a better job of retention. Retention has been talent retention has been a problem here, right? And now Mickey, that's just part of now the recruiting conversation, right? You recruit your own roster.
Do it every day.
If Mickey can recruit from the outside, he can recruit from the inside too. And he's in the building now. And he can, there's no restrictions on recruiting your roster.
Right.
You can recruit it every day. If you think a kid's wayward, you start recruiting him again, right? So again, Shafe, I'm telling you, and Jake, people are right now driving and they're pissed because they're listening to us make this case for Mickey. There's a large segment that will say, you guys are getting too emotional. You're letting.
I understand.
They are. You're here.
Yeah,
I guarantee you.
See it every day.
Well, how about this response? Gary says is Mickey a more effective recruiter when he's not the head coach because he can focus more time on that?
Overthink.
How many head coaches are actively like recruiting?
I
all the
think
time?
his value as a head coach that he derives in a way that you can't do when you're an assistant coach is he can build out the organization of like-minded individuals that are like him, that are really driven to recruit. You're not going to see guys that end up on the staff that offer no value in recruiting. He's not going to
seen too much of that, to be honest.
Yeah. Over the last 10 years, 3 different staffs.
10
We could
plus.
probably name
Yeah.
3 to 5 coaches that added value, minimal value to no value as recruiters.
Mickey
And
won't
you can't have
tolerate it.
that.
Yeah, Mickey won't tolerate that.
I think having him as the face of what you're doing, like you get this. It's not like you write a ton of them, but you've written some of them and you certainly read them. When kids come in to visit, the last thing they generally do is meet with the head coach. That's the final impression. And then they usually have their round of interviews or whatever as they're going home. And there's always the question, I'm always asking this when I'm talking to a kid that's just visited. What did you think of Scott Frost? What did you think of Mike Riley? What did you think of Bo Pelini? That is such an important question because as much as the position coach has value, as much as the other people on the roster matter to him, if they don't feel like they like or trust or get along with the head coach or want to play for the head coach, they'll say something milquetoast and move on and never consider Nebraska again. If you have a head coach that gets you fired up as a recruit, that's going to keep your interest through.
Mike just answered the texter's question. He did. He just answered it. No. Yeah. It's in what's happening right now is fascinating to me. If they beat Illinois,
Oh boy.
oh boy,
Gets real loud. Positively.
Yeah.
For Mickey.
Yeah.
That'd be the best win that people have seen around here since 2016.
Since 2016 when
That's
they beat
sad.
Oregon.
Yeah, and that wasn't even an Oregon team that ended up being particularly good.
Oregon had that big running back go down in the
Royce
first series.
Freeman.
Royce Freeman went down.
His boy.
You love Royce.
He loves
Freeman.
Royce.
Yeah, Roy. I remember seeing Royce and thinking, man, that first series he looks good. Then he went down, and I thought Nebraska going to win the
If
game.
you have questions for Schaefer, please call or text 402-464-5685. More next on Early Break in the Ticket.
Look at your car. It's filthy and probably has a few dings and nicks all over it. Don't be that guy. Get it upgraded and repaired at Renew Your Auto. At Renew Your Auto, they offer tons of services: ceramic coating, window tinting, paintless dent repair, washes and details, bed liners, body shop, and more. Where can you go to get services like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at renewyourauto.com. See what Renew can do for you.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you could earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/500.
At Venue Catering and Events, we offer 2 of the most historic ballrooms in Lincoln. The Jasmine Room, located in the historic Grand Manse in the heart of downtown, featuring a beautiful built-in antique bar, spacious patio, and soaring skylit ceilings. The Scottish Rite Ballroom, located just 2 blocks from the state's capital. Boasts intricate hand-carved columns, rich, dark wood floors, and lavish chandeliers. The perfect venues to host your wedding, corporate event, or much more. For availability and more information, call us at 402-603-6483.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul and Gato Comedy Syndicate present Big Comedy Energy November 11th and 12th, featuring headliner Corbin LeMaster.
If you don't know, cultural appropriation is like if you're not black, you can't have cornrows. If you're not Asian, you can't use chopsticks. If you're white, you can't score a touchdown.
4 shows November 11th and 12th at 7 and 9:30 at Mary Ellen's at 27th and Pine Lake. Tickets are $15 in advance or $25 at the door. For more information, find the event on the Mary Ellen's page on Facebook.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Lincoln Inspection Service asks, do we need farmers? When we have cereal with milk for breakfast, that was provided by our dairy and grain farmers. Our lunch and dinner is provided by our cattle, pig, and poultry farmers. Every meal we enjoy is contributed by our farmers. Let's all take a moment to say thank you to all the men and women of our ag industry. This message from Lincoln Inspection Service, who inspect our grain to make sure that it is safe for cattle and the marketplace. Call them at 402-435-4386. Lincoln Inspection Service thanks our farmers for all that they do.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
This.
Well, good morning, little brother.
Is Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Once again, if you have any questions for Mike Schaefer, please call or text 402-464-5685. This hour is sponsored by Trek CBD at 84th and Highway 2. Schaefer, any recent visits to Trek CBD?
I haven't been there recently, but I'm planning on stopping by. My supplies are getting a little low.
Oh, boy.
I've indulged a little bit. It's been great. I actually watched Nebraska volleyball last night after taking a Delta 9 edible, and I gotta say it just simply made the performance of Wisconsin all the more impressive.
Really,
they just steamrolled Nebraska.
Yeah,
I was not prepared for that.
Sweep 3 games.
Started off, I think Nebraska was up 5-1. I was like, oh wow, they're just gonna start this thing and ride a high, and then Wisconsin flipped it, and Nebraska never got it back. The second set featured a pretty impressive comeback from Nebraska to get it to 23-all, and then they lost the last 2 points. The third was on.
Yeah, Nebraska was down 22-12 in the second set, and then got it back
23,
but lost. That's tough.
Did you watch the match in its entirety?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
So what time did it end?
It ended right around 9:20.
Ooh, they did make quick work of Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean it was
a sweep.
Yeah,
that's quick work.
Yep. Well, the third set wasn't even competitive. I mean, the second didn't look like it was going to be competitive, but the The third, I was 25-17 or something.
25-18.
Yeah. So not much doubt left by Wisconsin.
Mike Schaefer joins us. We're talking a lot about Mickey Joseph. There's one other thing I'll ask you. I do this. It drives people crazy. It drives me crazy when it happens. Somebody asks you a question that doesn't really have an answer. But does Mickey? Do you think he can? Well, it's impossible to answer. Do you think he can handle the entirety of the magnitude of that chair if he were the head coach, having never done it at a place like Nebraska? He did it at Langston, in Oklahoma, in a lower division. You know what I'm talking about. This is a complex job.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a lot of things that come at you, like the question the other day about Malachi Coleman. That's a little thing. Then there's big things that come at you: player arrests, coaches coaching when they're not supposed to, and the NCAA gets involved. Analyst coach, and then bigger things. Can he handle all that?
I have no reason, based on what I've seen so far, to doubt his ability to do that. I mean, one of the things that I've liked about him, and you can call me out if this is a non-answer of your question, but one of the things I've liked about his tenure as the interim coach is he put his own touch on the program in a short amount of time, which tells me that he has visions of a job like this, which, before his wife even succinctly answered that he very much wants the job, you could see from his own actions. I mean, stuff like taking the black shirts and just putting them away for the season.
Good.
That's
example.
not a decision you make lightly, given the tradition of the black shirts and what it means to the people that have them, the people that have been awarded them in the past, and the fan base that, regards it as one of the steepest, most important things about Nebraska football lore. So that was a decision from someone who, he didn't know how that was going to go, but he made the decision that this is necessary for our football program. That, I want to preserve the value these mean. And if we're not going to play to a level of which I think we can, where they've earned that right to have them, nobody gets them. I mean, so a long way to answer that question is I think he absolutely can handle the stuff thrown at him. I also think more than people that have sat in as head time coaches recently, he has the ability to handle the fishbowl aspect.
That's what I wonder.
Which
part
I
of
think is sort of the underrated, most difficult thing to project with this job. Like,
why do you say that he can't?
Because you don't really understand Nebraska unless you have spent time around it, I think. And even then, I mean, Bo was here for a year as a defensive coordinator, the beloved assistant coach. Got to enjoy that in 2003. And it is radically different the day that he walked in to be the head coach in 2007.
Way different.
And then that realization of your life is not the same. And so at least Mickey would have an understanding of how that's going to go. And Scott Frost would too, but he didn't exactly handle it.
No, he didn't. Well. No, it was
because he had the enjoyment before of being anonymous in Orlando. And I think he really liked that. And you're the exact opposite of anonymous.
Well, it was a big factor in his mind as in Scott's mind as he weighed the decision whether or not to take the Nebraska job. And it was a decision. And a lot of it was the fishbowl aspect concerned him. Okay, Mickey, we do see him. We see him at the podium and we see him on the sideline. That's where we see him the most, right? What does that look like to you? Those two spots, Mickey at the podium, Mickey on the sideline.
Mickey at the podium has struck me since he's been doing it as a guy that's in control of what he wants to say and control of how he's going to say it, and is trying to control how the program is perceived, especially using his own words. I mean, he's calculated. I mean, think about some of the stuff that he's done post game, just getting up there and saying, we're going to get this fixed. That's on me. Talking about the tackling, talking about the stuff that fans have wanted to be addressed or at least commented on, and him basically taking accountability right away. I mean, I think that he is calculated at doing those things because that's where people have perceived there's been, an absence, that someone just hasn't taken that upon themselves.
Right. People are looking for you to handle losses. We've had coaches here who handle losses way too well, though. So it sounds good now.
Right.
Yeah.
But, so I think he can do all of those things.
Yeah.
I think he's comfortable in this spot. I don't think that it's too big for him. And certainly
that's the question.
Certainly each game gives you an indication. I mean, like I said, the Purdue game actually, even though they lost, gave me a stronger indication of Mickey Joseph's ability to be a tactician inside a game with the determination we can't have long drives. Is it going to be a detriment to our defense? Probably. Is it the only way we can win? We think so.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, it was the only way they could stay.
It's the
in
only way
that
you'll
game.
win Saturday too, by the way.
I think it's honestly it has
Mickey
to be
said
their
that.
strategy.
Well, he said it.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, Mickey said, I asked him, okay, you said that you like Bielema and you like Illinois' approach because they stick to their guns. If Nebraska sticks to its guns, what's it got to look like? He said we got to throw the ball downfield.
Yeah.
Now he did say we got to get Anthony Grant going too.
It's true.
But he said we got to throw the ball downfield. Now here's the thing, Schaefer. The one thing we got to give voice to the other side here. You know that if Lane Kiffin was standing on the other side on Nebraska's sideline, it'd look good in it. They'd probably win.
Absolutely.
You know that if I don't know how far.
Where do you go after that?
Well, Fickle, somebody like that.
Fickle.
You know that would look good, and they'd probably win. But the reason that Mickey's in a good spot is you don't know if those guys are. Well, you know Fickle's probably not available. You don't know if Lane Kiffin's available. You don't know if Matt Rule's available. You don't know who's available. You don't know if they can get him.
Right.
That's the Mickey. Mickey has that advantage.
Yep. His
wife's in the media telling people, "Oh, you can get Mickey." You don't. Lane Kiffin doesn't have a wife, but I mean, Mark Stoops. Can you get Mark Stoops? If Mark Stoops was standing there on the sideline, I think, okay, Nebraska's in good shape here with Stoops.
Yeah.
Stoops doesn't have a wife either.
And your boy Dave Clawson at Wake Forest.
Yeah, I mean, if Dave Clawson was standing there in year 3,
You
I
feel
think
good?
Nebraska's going to be winning a bunch of football games.
See that now? So you have that. I have that. I agree with you on that. Just that image looks good. Do you have that with Joseph? You know, I kind of do. I guess.
I do, but I have to also explain it as this. I have, and it's probably irrational, very high confidence in his ability to put together a staff. Like I think he's going to have a staff that is going to be competitive in recruiting and is going to get a lot out of the players on Saturdays. Like I don't have a compelling reason, because if you look at his resume, it's not like he's been to 10 different schools and is awash with all of these different people across the United States.
Right.
But because he has so many connections just in the football world, I just have confidence that he's going to be able to find people and maybe unearth some people that can come to Lincoln, Nebraska and be successful college football.
He can pay those people too.
Well,
That's right.
The big thing in all of this, if Mickey is your head coach and that frees up your assistant salary pool to be the largest it's ever been, and you go out and you have, and I tie a lot of this together because I really do think it's what would happen. If Vance Joseph is your defensive coordinator, you're not worried about that side of the ball, because part of the question is, does this offensive guy have the ability to hire a defensive coordinator that can just take care of
his
things?
brother? Yeah, I mean,
and if that's what
Your
we're
side of the ball,
having,
Vance.
and you basically have Joseph and Joseph, that's pretty.
Now
darn
you
good.
gotta. I don't. What does he do on offense? I don't know what like who's he. Is he keep Whipple? I mean, what's that look like?
Well, I think he has to determine how he wants to play in the Big Ten. And one of the things that's good for him is he's getting the experience of, watching what Purdue does on offense. Now he's getting Illinois. Like, if he's putting this together as I want this job, he's cycling through, what do I want it to look like if I'm in the chair? And what kind of offense are we running?
It's fascinating. That conversation, Mickey on Tuesday told the media that Nebraska has to be physical, that it has to establish its physicality. Then Whipple was asked about that yesterday and said they don't track physicality on the scoreboard. Last I checked, there's no tab for physicality.
Well,
I love it.
It's sort of interesting when you hear coaches sort of not being completely in line. And
I don't think Mark Whipple will be Nebraska's offensive coordinator for a variety of reasons.
Right. Well, yeah, but he said they keep track of points, not physicality.
Can't argue that.
No,
Can't argue with that.
He said my job is to score points.
I'm not arguing with that.
He's right.
Yeah, he's right.
Let's play the game show. Give us a call right now at 464-5685. Your chance to win a business box of bagels to Bagels and Joe. Sip is 2-1 on the week. Schaefer looking for a winning week with you
took
to help out.
A rough one yesterday.
Yep. You did.
Rough. I mean,
Nebraska counties got you.
Oh.
You went to the tiebreaker.
we went to a tiebreaker.
He was 4. He put the number out there. He was 4 off. I said, what's the
On the
least
population.
populous county in the state? It's McPherson County. He guessed, I think 375. It was 379.
Wow.
And
And
the caller went over 375.
Wow, that's tough.
It was a great guess, but he lost.
Yeah, I shouldn't have revisited it because it hurts.
Today is Throwback Thursday, which has kind of been more of a Thursday night football element. Tonight it's Bucks Ravens on Thursday night football. So Bucks and Ravens all-time leaders.
Yeah.
I've been doing this every Thursday now.
All right.
It's going to be that case the rest of the season.
So here's where I have to ask: the Ravens are
Yeah.
a derivative of the Cleveland Browns franchise.
Ravens.
So
Ravens
this
only.
only exists from '96 to present.
That is correct.
All right, just wanted to make
That
sure.
is correct. Ravens only. 464-5685. Shut Up Sipple starts right now.
We've all been there. You're listening to the radio, and then that rage starts to grow inside of you. It starts to consume you. It gets to a point where you just want to yell, "Shut up, Sipple!" No, sorry. I'm sorry. Well, here's your chance. It's time to shut up, Sipple. Call now to play. 464-5685. Shut up, Sipple. Brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
Can Sip have once again another winning week? Schaefer's here for the lifeline. You guys feel good about Bucks and Ravens trivia?
I feel better about the Bucks.
I feel okay about each.
All right. Our callers with us. Who do we have here? You're on early break. Who's playing today? Can you hear us?
Yes,
Mitch.
Mitch.
How do you feel about Bucks and Ravens trivia? All-time leaders.
Average.
Average is the response. You guys feel okay?
Schaefer feels better than I do.
Schaefer, lifeline for Sip for one question as always. Mitch, first question goes to you. Here we go. Who is the Bucks' all-time leader in passing yards with 19,000 plus yards and passing touchdowns with 121? Same person for both.
Brad Johnson?
No, it is not Brad Johnson. You guys passing here?
I mean, Schaefer.
I have a guess. I don't know that it's worth going one under on.
Pass.
What was the guess?
The guess would be Jameis.
The correct answer was Jameis Winston. So
who would be number 2 in that conversation?
They haven't had a lot of
Vinny
quarterbacks.
Testaverde's
Yeah.
number 2.
Ooh, I would not. I'm glad
Vinny
I didn't.
Testaverde.
I wonder if we should have taken it. They just don't have a lot of quarterbacks that have been there for like 5 years.
That's right. They haven't. Okay, 0-0 tie. Sip first question. Schaefer in play. Who is the Ravens' all-time leading rusher with 7,801 yards?
Oh, and probably that guy from Tennessee. I must say Lewis.
Jamal Lewis.
Jamal Lewis is correct.
So basically, I was going to come in there if you needed the name, but I was going to see if you could get it. So.
Jamal Lewis
Good work.
is
thank you.
correct.
All right, now I'm sitting good because I got Schaefer in my back
Is
pocket.
he still in jail?
Easy. I don't know. That's a Jerry Lee
I
Lewis
didn't look
conversation.
that part up.
That's almost yeah.
That could be something you can look up.
Clarify that, please.
He was
for
one
Lewis's-
of the NFL's best running backs, and then got busted for federal drug possession, I believe.
I forget about that story.
For the sake of his family, let's clear that.
All right, Mitch, to tie it up, last question. Who is the Ravens' all-time leader in receiving touchdowns with 41? And here's a hint. He was a tight end. Receiving touchdowns. 41.
Shannon Sharp?
Not Shannon Sharp.
I think I have
I
this,
gave
but
a
I don't.
good hint there.
I don't know if you want to. I don't know that you want to lose your hard-won victory if I get this wrong. But Jake says it's a tight end, right?
I did say that.
I have a name, so I
Do it.
can. You want me to use it?
Yeah,
This is for the win.
telling-
This
yeah,
wins the
it's
game.
Schaefer.
Todd Heap.
Oh, wow. Good job, boys.
All right. Thank you, Mitch, for calling. We'll get you back on the cop.
Schaefer, great job. Great
You
job.
know what school he went to? College?
Todd Heap went to Arizona
That
State.
is correct. He went to Arizona State.
This was back when I was a recruit, Nick. I knew all about, or not recruit, Nick, a draft, Nick. I knew all about Todd Heap.
I think people
Arizona
forget
State.
about Todd Heap.
Yep.
A little bit.
He's
Not
really
Schaefer.
good.
He was awesome.
Schaefer does not
And
forget
he had
about
crap.
Todd Heap.
You had Kyle Bowler as his quarterback, Trent Dilfer. He had some bad quarterbacks. He was putting up some stats.
Shake.
He was.
You know that
Tony
period
Banks.
so well.
Tony Banks was a quarterback for a
former
little-
Iowa.
Elvis
Of course
Grbac.
you know Tony Banks. Of course you know that.
He's
Former
Brad,
Iowa.
oh, that's Brad Banks. Tony Banks didn't go to Iowa.
Oh, he went to Michigan State.
I don't know that.
Jamal Lewis spent 4 months in federal prison.
So he's not in prison anymore.
No, and this actually happened during his playing career, and he came back and played after.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
Man, 4
Last
months?
question. Who wants this one? And the tiebreaker.
Just a minute. Just 4 months. That's interesting. That's a light federal.
Said he
sentence.
reached a plea agreement. So
It's a light sentence.
Okay, this is your
Yes.
question, and then we'll go to tiebreaker. Who is the Bucks' all-time leader in receiving yards with 9,755 yards? It's not you, but it's your question. And Schaefer can steal this.
I don't know. Is it that big guy they got right now? Evans?
Mike Evans is correct. Mike Evans.
Look at that.
And
We got all
by
4 of
far,
them,
actually,
basically.
by far, he is number one.
Yeah.
on the
Again,
receiving
they
list.
don't have anyone else that.
Osmosis. It's amazing how osmosis works. I don't really follow any of this, but I know it.
Look at that.
All right,
No.
fine. Tiebreaker. This goes to Schaefer because he usually put the number out there, right? Okay. The Ravens have been in existence for 27 seasons. How many playoff games have they appeared in those 27 seasons?
Okay, so
How many games?
Not how many have they won or lost. How many have they appeared in? 27 seasons.
They had 2 Super Bowl wins, so those were 4 each time. So they're at least in the middle double digits. Let's say that they have had 19 playoff games.
Sip.
Um,
In the history of the Ravens, over under 19 playoff games. 27 seasons.
Over.
26 games. A 16-10 record in the postseasons. That's very good for the Ravens.
No, it's all right. Whew, that's a
Well,
good win.
nice
3
win,
win,
fellas.
3 win weeks. I gotta keep coming with 3
Good
win
win.
weeks.
It's a good win.
Yeah, now I've crossed the line. Now I've put way too much into this.
3 in 1 week. Hey, it's a
It
winning week.
affects my days way too much.
But you're fine. It's a win.
No, it's not fine.
But you won the game. But today's a good day.
Now you're going to ride the motorcycle to that village that the county that cost you.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. He's going to drive to McPherson
Driving
County
around.
and say, I'm going to count every one of these people one by one and see if I was right.
Offer 4 of them rides so they leave the county.
I will not lose. Schaefer, it's been fun. Thank you for the time.
All right,
Good
guys.
job,
See you
Schaefer.
next
Have a
week.
good
Great job.
The spillover is next on an early break. And the ticket.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. It's football season, and that means you're tailgating with friends, or if you're like me, yelling at the TV during Vikings games. Trek CBD has a variety of products that help calm me down during the games, so don't scare my dog. But in the rare cases that I yell too much, there's CBD products for him, too, and all other pets. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Trek CBD has it all at 84th and Aderman. Trek CBD done right.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Casey's General Stores is giving away 2 tickets to each Nebraska football home game this season. To enter, just head to any Casey's General Store location in Lincoln during the football season, scan the QR code at the front counter, and fill out the online form. One winner will be chosen at random 2 days before that week's game. So head over to Casey's, stock up on all your tailgating snacks and drinks, and register to win 2 tickets to a Nebraska football game, brought to you by Casey's General Store and 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Need to send a message? Send it with cake. Congratulations? Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you? Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. There is no better place to watch any Nebraska game other than the 50-yard line at Memorial Stadium. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com. Join us on Friday from 4 to 6 at Bourbon Street as we get you ready for Saturday's game against Illinois. Old School Jay Foreman and DP goes from 4 to 6 p.m. Stop by for some of the best drinks and Cajun food in town at Bourbon Street at 8th and Q. Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
We're on the air.
Back
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
to more of Early Break with Sip and Jay, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, it is time for the spillover. We're all here again, AD and Raph in studio.
I like it when you guys are here.
2 days in a row. We'd love to see it.
I like it when you're here.
Yeah, it's good to have you guys here.
Raph knew Todd Heap.
Yep. So did
Heap
AD? No, AD didn't know.
I
Todd
didn't know.
Heap.
I didn't know. No, I would have been done. I would have been done.
Raph would be good at NFL trivia, wouldn't you?
You were good at the Mike Evans one, though.
I got it.
Would you have had that one?
I don't know if I would have.
I got
was
Jamal Lewis, too.
Yeah, you got Jamal Lewis.
I was like thinking back to like their old receiver. I was like,
Vincent Jackson, they had one.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Johnson with the Bucs.
Vincent Jackson.
See, when Tennessee played Nebraska in the bowl game, when Manning was a quarterback, I was covering Nebraska, but I covered Tennessee's camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling Jake one day, Aaron and Raph, when they used to send us to these bowl games, they'd send us like 2 weeks out. You know, so I spent a lot of time. I knew David Cutcliffe. I got to know him because I was always over at their practices. And I got to know Jamal Lewis. I sat down with Jamal Lewis at a table one time and we talked for a half hour. So that's how I knew Jamal Lewis.
Who was the receiver they had? Peerless Price.
Peerless Price.
They had
He was
ballers.
a dandy.
Think about how many ballers they had on that team.
Oh, Peerless Price was
He was a bad man.
Those are the kind of dudes. When I think of like receivers you need on your team, I think of guys like Peerless Price.
He was a stud. Good with the Bills for a long time.
Yeah,
Also,
absolutely.
long
career.
can run, go up and get a deep ball. Oh God, That's the kind of dude you need.
He'd get on top of you real quick on defense.
Yeah.
He'd scare you.
Raph, any Tennessee memories?
He knows the coach. He hung out with
Were you
the
talking
only
Bill
one
Fulmer over there?
Yeah.
You start talking
I
about
say
that.
Cutcliffe, and he goes to Fulmer.
Will Fulmer.
Phil was the head coach.
I like automatically went to Carl Pickens.
Okay.
Because that was supposed to be the Broncos draft choice, and they selected Tommy Maddox instead.
Oh, boy.
When was that?
1991, I believe. Yeah, that hurt.
Carl Pickens?
They were supposed to go Carl Pickens to get that number
Yeah.
one receiver for Elway, and then they selected Tommy Maddox and said he was going to probably be the quarterback of the future for the Broncos. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Elway's only in his 8th year.
Yeah.
Come on.
He still feels latent anger over there.
Yeah,
that's
he
pain.
played
This
for
is
8 more years,
1991.
didn't
He came out with a lot of passion.
He
With
played
that,
good
too.
for the Bengals.
Didn't Elway retire?
Sorry,
in
we brought that
99?
up.
Yeah.
We shouldn't bring up those parts of your past. Sorry.
Look at him.
That's
Look,
all right.
look what you done to
Dude.
Ralph. Look at him. He had to shake his head there first.
Should have had Carl Pickens.
Do you need to take a moment?
Just a few.
I'm better now.
We got going on Mickey quite a bit on this show today.
We did, yeah.
Mickey's the momentum he has, and there's got to be a balance in that discussion because I get hammered on our message board at Husker Online for
I can only imagine.
being a little too far in on Mickey. But Mickey's got the chair. That's the thing. And what people say, they're right. Well, you always write about Mickey because you don't know anything else about the search.
That's fair.
Fair.
No, but
You
you
don't.
don't.
Fair.
But you can only speak what you know about, though. When you know about Mick,
Yeah,
you know.
he's
Let
here.
me ask you guys this, man. When people say, "Well, we can't take a chance on a first timer," like, now think about this.
Okay.
Every coach right now coaching started somewhere their first time. Everywhere. Now circumstances are different, obviously, here because we've been down. We've seen this movie already a few times, so I can sympathize with the fans who want someone who's experienced, quote unquote, as a head coach. But I think you got to be very careful when you're saying this person has to have Power 5 experience. When you start saying in musts, in absolutes, I think you leave out a whole trope, whether it's Mickey or someone else, you leave out a lot of qualified coaches that can continue to turn this thing around.
Interesting.
So I think you got to be careful saying this person has to have X, Y, Z. Now, the only thing I think a coach has to have, first of all,
what?
He better know how to recruit.
Yeah, and Mickey can do that.
That's the quality. Number one, you better be able to recruit, be able to relate to players. Okay.
Okay.
Those things are
Not
huge.
just that, though.
Not just that. You
Because
have to
there's
have,
a lot of good recruiters who could never be a head
Exactly.
coach.
You got to have organizational skills.
Right.
You got to have the respect of your locker room. And not only that, man, you have to think broader like a CEO. You can't just think, to your point, recruiting, OC, DC, backers coach, special teams coach, academics, community. How are you going to relate to the board of regents? Are you a figurehead? Can you communicate? Are you articulate in front of different people? Because the reality is this job as a head coach, I don't care if it's Doan, respect Doan like crazy because it's the same thing, obviously a smaller scale. You have to be able to multitask every day.
God, that's great. Aaron, that was a great dialogue. It's complicated. This job is complex. And it's more complex now than ever.
It is.
Because of Raph smiling. It is. It's
social media.
I was reading on the text line.
Oh, what's it saying?
Oh, Scooter Fabroka just said Teal was a first-time coach.
He was.
Booyah!
Barry Switzer was a
Barry
first-time.
Switzer.
Barry Switzer was a first-time head coach.
Dabo Sweeney.
Dabo Sweeney. I think Bob Stoops was.
Yeah, Stoops
Yeah.
was.
So those are pretty good names. Switzer, Osborne,
Not bad.
Stoops.
Not bad.
Hello.
They
So
did pretty well.
yeah. Now Mickey has been a head coach. It was at Langston. You know, Langston back in the day, kind of. But getting back to the complexity of the job. That's what I wonder about Mickey. Can he handle the complexity? And we're getting some idea of it. And I'd say it's pretty good. I mean, we see him at the podium, and that's a big part of this deal. I mean, because he's not just addressing media at that point. He's addressing the state.
Right.
Because people are all watching.
And in many ways,
Right.
the nation, because
The
Nebraska
nation.
football is such a big brand.
Right. And there's people watching closely when he's at the podium, how that looks. Now we see Mickey on the sideline. I think that's pretty good so far.
Yeah, I do as well.
And I'm with Aaron. Now, I think Aaron didn't say this, but I bet he agrees with me based on what he said. And I tell Jake this all the time. I've been saying it for a couple of years. I don't want a head coach who calls plays anymore. I don't want a guy on the play sheet. Too complex. Job's too complex.
There are very few people who can do
Right,
that.
very few.
Very few.
Hard
And-
to do.
And it's not wrong if you can't. I'm simply saying you got to know where your strengths lie when they don't. I think that's a great part of leadership is knowing what you're good at and what you're not, what's going to benefit the team most. And people tend to say, I was just when I was in Austin, a guy was like, well, didn't Coach Osborne call plays? I said, how many Coach Osbornes can you tell me who both called plays
thing.
and was the head coach and won the national championship or successful? I mean, probably a handful. And I mean one handful.
Ryan Day, some people got to come at you with Ohio State coach Ryan Day does it, but he also has Kevin Wilson as his offensive coordinator.
Exactly.
Who's like my age.
Yep.
He has a very experienced assistant who helps him. Now, if you have that, it's like if you have a Kevin Wilson who's been a head coach
And
at the
yeah,
Power
yeah,
5
right.
level.
Big Ten.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
He was the head coach.
if you have Kevin Wilson as your OC, then that's a setup I understand.
You have an awfully good buffer.
Yeah.
You can take your headset off and not miss a beat.
Exactly.
Wouldn't miss a beat.
Exactly.
Wouldn't miss a beat.
Yeah. So I mean, Mickey certainly has a lot of momentum going for him right now, but we'll
Well,
see.
he
Over the
does.
the next month is telling though, because we talked to Ross Dellinger of SI.com, who was in town talking to Mickey for earlier this week about, and he said, hey, he understands there might be a win total you have to get to. We don't know what that is at this point, but you can't just hire him if they go 0-5 the rest.
What
of
if
the
I
way.
presented it to you this way? Mickey can, okay, get ready. Can Mickey nail down the job in the next 2 weeks?
No.
Beat Illinois, beat Minnesota?
What if he loses out after that and loses to
I
Michigan?
don't know.
Wisconsin,
If you
Iowa?
beat Illinois, if you beat Illinois, who's 17th ranked, and we agree, if you outmaneuver Brett Bielema at his height right now, and you're an interim and you got to patch this all together, and you're beating Illinois,
It'd be a big move in
Hello.
the right direction for Mickey. Absolutely.
I think
Wouldn't nail it down though.
you don't think you don't think 2 would nail it down?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Especially if
now,
they
people
lose-
are jumping. I know people are driving, going, "Simple, shut up! Just shut up! This is ridiculous! Don't talk like that."
I think the
But
argument
think
gets
about
a
the
lot
mo-
louder. I think the
Thank
argument
you.
becomes very much.
Yeah, that's what I
lot
thought.
louder.
I'm
Loud.
fine with that.
Yeah.
Really loud. Really loud.
Because you think about what he's dealing with right now, and all of us sitting here, we can articulate and speak about and expound everything. You guys are both pressing on interviews, etc. There's things we don't even know about, holes that he's patching. There are holes
true.
that we don't even know about that he's having to patch. I'll say this. The gentleman, now I'm even scared to say his name, which I can, but even the guy that he just secured right here in Lincoln, 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, 8 weeks, he was not coming here. He was not coming here. Do you imagine the amount of you look about the amount of patching he had to do in reintroducing and reselling the brand in the changing culture of Nebraska? That's just one person we know.
Well, he happens to be the number 1 recruit in the state, though.
That's
The number 1 recruit. How much talking and how much, I don't even want to say convincing. Convincing makes me sound like I'm buying something I really don't want to buy, but you talked me into it. No, how much true, sincere conversations had to take place? A lot. So, and that's just one instance that we know of because it's public now. We don't know all the other conversations that have gone on and that are ongoing to try to put together a recruiting class while you're still patching other holes.
Oh, it's
very
gotta be
tough.
hard. He's
That's
working
very-
all. He's
extremely
got to be
complicated.
He's got to be working around the clock. Almost.
Exactly. That's why, and to my point, that's why, of course, wins and losses at the end of the day, that's the scoreboard. That's the score. I mean, we have to keep that in consideration. But I think there are other scores that we have to keep conscious and be mindful of as well. The reality is for us, we don't know what all those patches are.
Oh. Raph, what are you seeing on the text line?
Oh, just the normal stuff for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what Corey says. So regarding what you said, if Nebraska were to win the next 2 games and get to 5-4, what if they lose out? The thing is,
Well, I get that.
Okay, we've said
You
last
can't
week
lose out.
we had a segment last week saying you cannot lose to both Iowa and Wisconsin this year in the state of those programs right now. Wisconsin,
I agree with that.
Fired their coach midseason, and Iowa is in disarray right now. You got to win one of those. If
Okay.
they get to 5-4 and win one of those games, absolutely.
I broached the notion. Maybe I went too far in saying, would he nail it down?
Right.
I
He
didn't
did nail
say
it
he
down.
would,
It
but
gets
would,
closer.
My God, think about the energy in this place, though. If you got, it's hard for everybody to do this, but you have to project ahead what it would feel like.
Oh, yeah.
And it would feel incredible, right?
I got another question before you. This was on Kirk Ferentz.
Okay.
he went after that reporter. I guess his name was Doug, whatever. You might even know it might be a peer of yours.
Go ahead, Jake. Doug.
Maurice.
Yeah.
Yes,
He
might
did.
be a peer. Yesterday, he comes out on Twitter with that apology. Was that the PR firm? Was that him? Was he forced it or not? If you're that reporter, Jake and Sip, if you're that reporter, and Raph as well, how would you have taken that? Because Kirk Ferentz really came after the guy.
Kind of. He said, Jake, paraphrase, he said, look, it was a hard loss to Ohio State.
But he basically-
and we got interrogated, but I was driving home and I thought, it could be worse. I could be you. I could be.
Come on,
I
man.
could be a reporter.
was kinda
I could have your job. I'm pretty thick-skinned. I get way worse than that.
You get worse than that, but
Yeah,
it doesn't make
yeah.
it. But it does. That's like saying
I thought
somebody
it was
didn't
kinda
punch.
funny.
It's like saying somebody only kicked me. They didn't punch me in the stomach.
Yeah, it was not appropriate. It
I-
was
I
very.
wanted to see what you
Here's
thought
what I
about
would say. I thought it was very haughty.
Yeah.
But Ferentz has been there for 23 years, and I know he's haughty. He's haughty, and it doesn't bother me that much. Aaron is my answer.
You
It
know
would,
what?
and it wouldn't bother me that much.
Here's why I didn't think. I mean, obviously, it was a cheap shot.
It was a cheap shot.
However, is that showing that there's some serious stress that Kirk is going through right now?
He
with
should
his
be
son?
having stress.
Think
How can
about
he not
that.
be having stress?
Yes.
His
don't
team
know.
sucks.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's. I think he's
His son is getting
exactly. That's
just
my point.
pummeled every day because he's not doing a very good
I don't
job.
know how much stress
And
is
that goes to Papa
attached.
Ferentz.
I don't know how much. I hate to make everything about money, but as I get older, I do. How much stress is attached to a guy who has a $42 million buyout?
I don't think it's about the money with him. I think he's feeling some heat because he realizes it's not just some guy he's known for a few years. This is his son.
Son, yeah, okay.
That would be hard to hear.
No,
your son
money's
money's not even an issue at this
No.
point. That'd be hard to hear your son being pummeled every day.
Pummeled.
I mean, big time.
He's getting beat down.
No, you're right. You have the appropriate response. Money's not the appropriate response. Money doesn't soothe that.
You
It
got to be
doesn't.
hurting.
Yeah.
You got to be hurting
Yeah.
for your
His
son right
pride's
there.
getting
Yeah.
You get used to the money.
Yeah, money's not an issue. For
Right.
him.
All right, fellas.
Rafs, we didn't let you talk much.
No, I was just listening in. You guys are doing a great job. I enjoy it.
He's gonna keep his conversation for the drive. How about that?
Oh, yeah. He's going to have plenty of let's rides in the next hour and a half. Believe
Say
me.
it.
Let's ride.
Well, actually, I was doing some high knees here, just kind of warming up for the
He's
drive.
in the aisles. He's in the
Can you
aisles
do high
doing
knees?
things.
Nick, get that button ready to go for next hour and a half.
Yeah,
man.
you don't need it.
I thought you said Heine. I'm like, wait a second.
We got to get out of here. See ya. Let's ride.
Popcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art,